Disney admits it needs white actresses by Sydney Watson. I didn't even see when this happened. I didn't even see when this happened. Apparently Disney wants to do stuff. I mean, it's not surprising, right? They do wanna. So Disney, in an official piece of writing, also admitted that they want to target boys more. Seems like their stuff, their slop, their shitificated and their softening of the species of our species by Disney isn't appealing to boys. Surprise, surprise.
My ongoing question all of the time is,
and obviously that they need white girls suddenly, all of a sudden.
Is why are they like this? Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And this video is exclusively sponsored by my company, Lions Tea Exchange, because as you all know, I have a ton of tea that is expiring at the end of November, although tea doesn't really expire because it's a dried item. But I am running a 50% off sale on my site for Earl Grey, New York Breakfast, and Emerald Green using the code WeDon'tWaste. So many of you are incredibly cool and epic because you have helped me clear so much of this. I hate throwing tea away. I hate.
I wanna shout out to my fiance who did order bajillions of that stuff to she did order bajillions of that stuff to give it away to her church, so her church can now give these away. Really cool, really cool. Hi Theo, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. Hello. Bring back Star Wars pre-2010s. Yeah, bring back Star Wars that's actually about like the world of Star Wars instead of whatever the Acolyte was. Like Mona Lisa, the paint pictures. Well, she's Australian, so hey. The Australian Mona Lisa, I guess. Right there.
Product away. It's horrible. So thank you for those of you who've ordered so far. For those of you who haven't, give it a try. I promise it is good. And for the churches and cafes that have reached out to me about taking some tea, I promise I haven't forgotten you. It's just me. So it takes me a second to get through everything. Lastly, my 3 winter flavors are back in stock. So we have bourbon barrel chai, peppermint white chocolate, and apple cider. The peppermint white chocolate is by far my favorite, but a bunch of you guys really like the bourbon barrel chai. I don't blame you. It tastes pretty dang good. Those are also on the website, ready to be drunk by all of you. That is all. Link in the description. Let's do the video. Now, we have talked a lot.
Time to get into the horrible stuff. I'm good. Good to hear. Good to hear. Time to get into the horrible stuff. Here we fucking go. What did Disney say again?
On this channel about Disney and its many, many failings. But I am personally of the hope that the company will eventually learn to pull its butt out of its butt. And maybe that day is today. Who's to say? Doing lots of fun rhymes. Now, some of you may or may...
Did you notice that her mug is always chipped? It annoys me. It annoys me that she has a chipped mug. I can see that part of glass just missing. I can see it. Ceramic? I can see it.
May not remember, but back in early 2025, Disney decided to stop production of its live-action adaptation of the film Tangled, which was originally released in 2010. For those of you who don't know, Tangled is Disney's version of Rapunzel, and it's very cute. And I like the horse Maximus, and Mother Gothel is kind of a vibe. I don't know what to tell you. The original
Tangled was a fun movie. Tangled was a fun movie. I did like it. It's not a bad Disney movie. It is. Tangled is a fun movie. I enjoyed Tangled. I enjoyed this version of Rapunzel. I did. I like the main character. He's not a completely incompetent fool nowadays. I like the horse. That was a fun movie still. Yeah.
The original film did reasonably well with audiences, grossing almost $600 million, which is likely why Disney decided it would take a run at it as its next remake victim. However, and I do always love when there's a however, after their remake of Snow White fell in an absolute...
Lord Farquaad and the 7 CGI abominations. I know what you are.
Heap this year, Disney finally got the message, it seems, that people were over the whole live-action adaptation thing. And more specifically, live-action adaptations that have improperly cast lead actresses.
I mean, of course. Of course. See, I think there's a general problem with live action movies. I don't think they're good. I don't think they translate well into realistically they just don't translate well in my opinion. They rarely do. I mean, look at anime. Most anime adaptations that were live action have failed, right? The only recent one that has been successful is the One Piece one, but Oda himself is involved, so this is not surprising. Regardless, like you can tell that these are not doing well.
And creepy CGI people. What am I looking at here? I also have to add for the 40th time at this stage that I don't quite understand what's live action about a film that is still majority animated. I don't like this. Anyway, Disney went ahead and decided to pause Tangled, which weirdly enough brought relief to a bunch of people. There are entire Reddit threads of people celebrating. I'm not sure what to make of this, but you know, it's here on the internet for you to see. And to some, of course, the timing of this pull was a little bit weird because, number one, if you don't have anything to hide, then why hide anything at all? Which is why there was also a ton of speculation that this Rapunzel would have been anything but white. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your braids, I guess, maybe.
That'd be a funny parody, not gonna lie. Somebody should do that. Not Disney, but like a YouTuber doing a fun parody of like, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your braids. I see the vision. I see the vision. That's actually kind of funny, not gonna lie. It takes the normal trope and takes a spin to the trope. Stamps on distress without trying to girl boss. Yep. I like strong. I like good female leads. I don't like girl bosses. I like good female leads. I like good female leads. Like Ripley, for example. It's like weird how they cannot produce any good female leads. Isn't that weird? That's weird. Or Eowyn from Lord of the Rings. That's also another good female character. Again, they cannot do that. They cannot do that. I don't know why. Skill issue. Skill issue. Millennial writer skill issue. Oh no, not Snow White. Lord Farquaad.
I don't know, leave me alone. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, throw us your weave? Maybe? Which, you know, you can't blame people for making that assumption given Disney's recent track record. How did this man produce this many different racial children? Someone please explain this to me. And honestly, this wasn't even too far off base given that black actress Francesca Rivers was potentially going to play Rapunzel in the—
Huh? This doesn't fit at all! What are we doing? Huh? If this was the idea— oh my good— nah, bro. We need to stop. We need to stop watching Little Mermaid. Disney found good match for— they asked Tectone to play her for Rapunzel. Tectone. Tectone, Rapunzel, Rapunzel. Shine your bald head down. I don't know. I don't know. It's just horrible. Like, how do you get the— why are you trying to annihilate fairy tales? What is your problem? What did fairy tales do to you?
The remake of Tangled. Now, the reason that I don't want to harp on this too much is because it was completely speculative. I could not find any good or trustworthy sources reporting on this, and it may just well have been an
The problem is that it's believable, though. Whether it's speculation or not, it's believable that it would be the case, which is a problem.
Rumor, but it does go to show that people have been subjected to this so much that they fully believed that Disney would be so crazy as to cast this woman in—
I still want Black Tarzan. I still want Black Tarzan. I still want Black— do it. Do it. Do it. Go ahead. Let a black man behave like a monkey. Go ahead, do it. I want to see you have the balls. You have the balls for everything else, but for this one, you fail? Go ahead, do it. Just saying. Go ahead, do it. We all already know that you're racist. You might completely do it now, huh? We know it. Titan give light signs from the tower from his with his baldness. Bro is so bald. If you shine a light on it, you could create a bridge.
In this role, which obviously makes 0 sense. And number 2, it's like Snow White was not the first remake at all to fail, so if its failure was so big that it caused the company to reevaluate, well, I have some questions around that. Why go back to doing remakes at all? I don't know. Disney are just, they're money grubby, guys.
Yep. And they absolutely bastardized Lilo and Stitch. Ohana does not mean nobody gets left behind. Ohana I think that's what it was. Ohana means leave your little sister behind and put her in like state care, so you can boss girl and study.
They're very money grubby. But because it's the modern era, and despite fans and viewers begging for new well-written content and stories and productions, Hollywood has apparently learned nothing, and instead Tangled is back on the books. But apparently it will be different this time. According to Hollywood insider Matthew Baloney, Disney is about to cast new Rapunzel in the revived live-action remake Tangled, and I'll bet you the price of that long-braided wig that the gig will go to a white actress. This is what he wrote. That's a quote. Sorry if that wasn't clear. The headline I also have on screen here is much more succinct, which says, Disney is set to hire a white actress to star in its latest reboot after dumping DEI amid woke fury. Also accurate. I mean, yeah, you'd think so, given that Rapunzel's whole story is around—
Careful. Do not fall into the trap that these companies are abandoning DEI. They're just gonna rename it. When Microsoft did it, people were like celebrating Microsoft is abandoning DEI. No, they just renamed it. And Disney would rename it too. It's just gonna be renamed. It's just gonna have, see, it just is gonna be named differently. It like DEI was there before. It was just like a different name before that. It's like, it goes like through multiple name changes. Name it something else and people will forget.
Her being blonde with long hair, and typically white people are blonde. I don't know about the long hair part, but definitely the blonde part. Same with redheads. Oh, I forgot. We don't care about things like that anymore. Ignore me. Full disclosure, all of this is speculative at this stage, but Baloney adds, oh my god, I just realized that his name sounds like bologna. Like the food bologna. It's not spelled like that. But
Crazy. Believe me, you don't want Black Tarzan, because it's not the only thing they will change. Suddenly Tarzan adopted by entire female lesbian gorilla pack.
But that's all I can think of now. Anyway, yeah, so he adds that he got his hands on an internal email distributed within Disney, which basically said that it was disbanding its DEI initiatives, and the company intended to empower everyone instead of select groups. Okay, better late than never, I guess. In short, Baloney said that Disney is very afraid of Trump and Elon and the culture war that it is currently losing. Can't imagine for the life of me why they'd be losing the culture war. Yeah. Baloney... Baloney?
Baloney. Why are you doing this? That's not necessary. Been seeing WWE Dead Legend people were wrestling and talking AI shit. Read it. What exactly has this to do with Disney right now? Like, okay, I don't watch wrestling. I don't know why you tell me this. I don't watch wrestling whatsoever.
Baloney also gave a bunch of examples of the ways Disney has recently shifted away from its diversity initiatives, gutting film development areas that might get the company into trouble, removing its Reimagine Tomorrow website that served as a hub for diversity initiatives, and I will assume she'll probably be an accurate-looking Rapunzel, at least as far as the Tangled movie goes. Which oddly shouldn't be controversial, but it is, because, I don't know, I guess everything is dumb and irrational. The bottom line is that apparently after getting kicked repeatedly in the head by audiences and having horrifically bad performing movies and content, Disney is finally somewhat leaning into what people have been asking for. Or in the very least, their pockets hurt enough that they have finally realized that what they're doing is not.
It's simple. It's simple. If you want to make money, Give your consumer base what they want. If you don't want to make money, don't give them what they want. And what Disney fans wanted and movie fans wanted was not what Disney was giving them. Simply put, they lost money, and now they're realizing, wait a minute, this is not, what we're doing is not working. It's not working, so we got to do something else.
Not working. That being destroying beloved classics, race-swapping characters left and right, getting overly political, and appealing to the activists outside and inside their company, which is obviously a failing initiative. And now they're making an attempt.
Because it's a really small minority. You're making... No, actually not. You're making movies for an audience that does not exist. That's the problem. These movies don't appeal to the average, like, the audience that is going to wants to consume this.
Attempt to purge all the things that got them in hot water over the last little while and led to the numerous and catastrophic box office failures that they've had, like Lightyear and Snow White. And obviously, Disney isn't just doing this with relation to its princess films. Some of you might remember a video I made towards the end of August where I told you all that Disney was...
Yeah, they're trying to get back Gen Z men, but Gen Z, you lost Gen Z men because you didn't give them what they wanted. And that's essentially the punishment that you'll get for it. Disney boys, the boys that were watching Disney movies, you need to catch them with actual, good written male characters. But you won't do that.
On the hunt for new original IP in an effort to win back or win over, maybe for the first time, Gen Z men. Yes, the very demographic they have been calling racist and sexist for years now. Yes, it is a true mystery why the menfolk are not interested. Truly, I am shocked. Again, the revelation was extremely ironic given the nature of the two major male-orientated media properties Disney controls, that being Star Wars and Marvel. And maybe Indiana Jones to a lesser extent? Do we still like him? Is that still like...
Yeah, Indiana Jones... Actually, Indiana Jones is definitely male-dominated. Star Wars is also male-dominated, 100%. 100%. Marvel's also male-dominated. And that's a lot of the... See, that's not just a Disney-specific problem. That's a general problem. Stop appealing to an audience that is not your audience. Why are you trying to appeal to women that are not consuming your media? Why are you doing that? Are you stupid? See, this is like the crazy part. Confirmed Disney is just too woke, including Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars, and Century Studios, formerly Fox. Yep. Gen Z and X have walked away. Yep. The last movie was garbage. Yep.
Is that still the collective thing? Do people like him? I mean, I do. Daddy Jones can grace my television screen anytime he wants. The young version, that one with the hat and the, you know, the quippy quips. If you would like to watch that video where I actually go over this, I will happily link that in the description box for all of you, so you can watch that in your own time. But jokes aside, looking at these two things side by side, the desire to appeal to young men with new written content, new made content, and realizing that race swapping isn't working, and in remakes it's important to stay true to the characters as they originally...
See, the thing is this. The thing is this, right? The problem is that they try to appeal to women too much in the specific pieces of media. Which the problem with that is that you're not just going to alienate the men that consume Star Wars. You're also going to alienate the women that were liking Star Wars. Appeal to Star Wars fans, not to like a different demographic. Just appeal to Star Wars fans.
Appeared, it really does seem like something is shifting over at Disney, and although there will be naysayers who say that's not really happening, if we think about it from a real business standpoint and not just an activism standpoint, it makes sense that Disney would be shifting with the times, and times are changing. Everybody is aggressively moving away from wokeism and progressivism. And you guys know this because I have been talking about this a ton on this channel, all of the areas where we are seeing a very aggressive shift away.
You can say that, Sydney, you can say that, but look at Pokemon. The next biggest franchise is now fully going into like the DEI stuff. It's really interesting. Yes, Pokemon going full woke. It's not even a joke. The biggest media franchise is doing that now. So, hey, we got our replacement.
From progressive leftist ideologies and values and moving more towards the center, or in some cases aggressively swinging to the right. Because we're always on the pendulum, children. Because I have talked about Disney a ton, I'm always reticent to go over all ground, but there are still a few points that I want to reiterate or maybe make for the first time. It's hard to say. So sorry if I'm repeating myself. The news is in fact one giant Groundhog Day.
Don't mess with me, pork chop.
I'm not sure how to word this, so you'll have to bear with me, but I do think it's both hilarious and sad that casting a white actress in the role of Rapunzel would be some sort of pearl-clutching moment for people at the company. Like they're doing something naughty that's gonna get them in trouble. Like they put their little creepy fingers in the cookie jar while Mother's back was turned and they weren't allowed to do that. I think the thing here is that if the disease of forced diversity has infiltrated your company so much so that you feel weird and not right about casting white women,
That's a problem. Just fire everyone that acts weird. Clean out the entire, clean out everything, right? You don't have to fire there's usually no... In the US, you could just fire people for no reason, apparently, as far as I've heard.
Actresses into roles that they are appropriate for, and you feel bad about that for reasons, that's a big old problem, kids. Especially given that the fairy tale Rapunzel was originally recorded by the Brothers Grimm, and it was set in Germany and originally published in the early 1800s. Ergo, she is white, and yes, she is blonde. Because, you know, that part is very explicitly stated. I was gonna torture you all once again by horrifically mispronouncing this fairy tale's original title, but I think the original title is actually just Rapunzel, so, no weird German out of me today. I had a bunch of Germans.
Hey, sad. I want to make fun of you.
In my comments a couple months back when I tried to say Snow White in the original German as the original German title, and so many people...
Schneewittchen. Snow White in German is Schneewittchen.
Just said, I don't know what this is. Please never do that again. But I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it correctly. Are you ready? You better be ready. Hold your butt.
Schneewittchen.
Schneewittchen. So you almost have to sound like you have a lisp.
Schneewittchen.
What is that?
Schneewittchen.
Schneewittchen.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. Rapunzel. Well, technically it would be Rapunzel. Well, not bad, Sydney, not bad. This is getting better.
Perfect. This is insane and bizarre. I don't know how any of you speak this language. Anyway, back to Rapunzel. Even Disney originally
I'm canceling my tea order, that's it.
Designed the character as white, which makes sense given everything here. And as most of you probably know by now, I personally am a stickler for adaptations that stay true to characters, their appearances, their personalities, their behaviors. It's not very frequent or often that I think that big changes to a character actually work. I mean, sometimes they do, but, you know, not really all that often. And I think goes to show that when Disney stays true to their original source material, films do really well. Because as I have said previously, a remake comes with a certain set of expectations, and there's a tremendous amount of disappointment that comes up when those expectations aren't met. For example, the 2015 Cinderella remake with Lily James did pretty well, and a lot of you, it's so funny, whenever I talk about this, a lot of you get in my comments and are like, you know, Sydney, the Cinderella remake wasn't so bad, and actually, part of the reason why we liked it is because it wasn't, you know, a shot for shot, it really expanded on the Cinderella storyline in a great way, and that's great. I agree.
It's still Cinderella. It is still Cinderella. The one important thing that Disney forgets is that they still need to produce the story about the character, which oftentimes they do not do. That is a big problem. You don't recognize it. It's one Pokemon. It's from early season. Well, I watched Pokemon in German, so I likely wouldn't recognize it. I would probably recognize it if you threw it at me in German, but I watched Pokemon in German.
with you. I do think there are better remakes, but I'm glad that you guys like this one. Point being here, she was blonde, blue dress, glass slippers, the whole package, and the film ended up grossing 540 million because it gave fans the magic that they were sort of expecting. And I know that a lot of people liked that, like I said, it built on her story and also the story with the prince and gave him a little bit more dimension, which is missing from the original animated film. Same with the recent Lilo and Stitch film, which I know disappointed a ton of people because of the storyline. And, you know, full disclosure, I haven't seen Lilo and Stitch, so I'm not really going to comment on this because I don't know. But I know that the film did do insanely well at the box office. And despite there being criticisms of the characters, particularly Nani, I do think that they look pretty good, all things considered.
I still think that the movie's an abomination. I still think that the movie's an abomination because she left Lilo behind to Girl Boss. I think this is still an abomination. For what I've heard.
Compare this to Snow White, which lost $300 million, or The Little Mermaid, which barely hit $570 million, way less than Aladdin and The Lion King, which stuck closer to their roots. I think the thing here is that fans are not dumb for the most part, and we know when a company's pandering. And when said company keeps changing a character's core traits, the audience stops trusting them, because it's like, what's next? Is Simba going to be a chihuahua? I will also reiterate for the 4 millionth time that it is insane that it took Disney this long to admit that it's actually bad to hire people based on diversity.
Now, Simba will be a vegan.
Alone, and to kind of be subversive and put people in positions where they don't make sense because you're trying to push an agenda rather than hiring those people because they are great at what they do, it's merit-based, or they just happen to suit a role and they're also
That's why I'm saying these countries themselves are technically racist because they're essentially pushing pushing an agenda that favors identity and it favors identity over merit, which is bad for the people that are excluded and the people that are included, because for one, it makes others question why this person is specifically in that position. Did they earn that position, or did they receive it because of how they look or what they identify as? For one, also the person that gets that position has to question if they're here for their merit or what they identify as. It's like discriminatory all around. That's why I'm anti-quotas too. Like, these quotas are stupid. Just pick the one that does the best. Easy. Problem solved.
A good actor or actress. Hiring Rachel Zegler for diversity points is basically what capsized the film. She turned out to be insufferable and has tainted everything about this. That and the storyline made absolutely no sense, but you know, that's okay. That's very 2025 coded.
She did the moment chat. She did the weird. She did the moment chat. She did it. Yeah, she did it. Weird.
I also don't know how anybody can argue that it is not in fact discriminatory and racist to us pale-skinned folk, while also being bigoted towards minorities for forcing them to believe that they can't get roles or get ahead in this industry without preferential treatment. Movies with non-white people do well. This is it's not that deep or complicated. Mulan. Classic film. They screwed up the remake because of course they did, and they removed my boy Shang, but that doesn't matter. The original Mulan did insanely well. Lilo and Stitch recently did insanely well despite the various obvious issues with the movie. There's a bunch of these things that have happened. Moana, another one.
I have noticed that they need to take Western stories to change. Why don't you take African folklore? Why don't you take African mythology, whatever you want to call it, and turn that into a Disney movie? Why are you not doing that? Why are you not doing that? Well, I know the answer. It's money. It's effort. You don't want to do that, but you could do it. You refuse to do it. That's the problem. You want to make a Chinese story. Why not take Chinese folklore? Why not do that? Why not do that? Nothing's stopping you. The only reason you're not doing it because for one, you're cheap, you don't want to put in the money, you don't want to put in the effort, and you're also racist.
Great film, did extremely well. I'm sure that the remake, I'm pretty sure they're doing a remake, that's gonna do probably extremely well. The race swapping is unnecessary, and it really seems like
the race swapping is unnecessary because there's so many good stories that you could take. There's so many good stories from other cultures that you could take and Disneyfy. You refuse to do that. That's why the race swapping is unnecessary.
Disney is finally cottoning onto that fact, even if they're cottoning onto it under duress. Like I have said a number of times in the past, and honestly, like basically everybody who talks about film and entertainment and whatnot has also said, people are right now dying for fresh new content. They are dying for new and interesting and well-written stories. Well-written is very important. They want to see movies that are doing something new. They don't just want to see endless remakes and reboots and sequels. And here's the kicker. Here's the thing that apparently the entertainment industry doesn't seem to understand. People don't care if the lead of that movie or those movies is black or white or Asian or a bag of sand. They don't care, so long as it's good. But as long as Disney in particular, because obviously Disney,
they don't care as long as it's not a beloved old character. New character. I think nobody has an issue with that. Nope. Nobody. Right. I think I want to bring up, it's a video game, but it's still well made. The Last Remnant was a Xbox 360 JRPG. The main character is gay. You don't find that out until he finds his love interest. And it's not like that is his only part. It's like, okay, the dude's gay, kisses a man, that's it. Same thing. If you want to put in a gay character, put in a gay character, but don't make the gay part everything that character has to offer. Lions aren't eating bugs. You have no imagination. Obviously, lions don't eat bugs. Makes sense.
He's a really big player, is determined to keep giving us remakes, then personally I'm really glad that they have finally realized that giving us race-swapped characters and DEI initiatives and basically butchering stories is just not going to fly anymore with audiences. And again, and I feel like this is fairly obvious, there is a big distinction between taking that which already exists and making it better, like Disney did with Cinderella. A lot of people seem to think and believe.
Right? Add more to the story, or make it do a twist. Do a twist. People love twists. Just do a twist. Straight up. Nobody's complaining if you add a twist. That's good. That's peak.
That sounded like I was throwing shade at you guys. I'm really not. I'm really glad that you liked it, and I agree. I think that building on, you know, the princess storyline was a good thing. Anyway, there's a big difference between doing that and taking that which already exists and going haywire with it. Unfortunately, I really do think that navigating the world of remakes will always be hard because there are so many potholes to step in, there are so many faux pas to be made, and even when a remake is executed as well as it possibly could be, people are often still quite unhappy. So couple this...
You will never reach the greatness of, oftentimes, the greatness of the original because of nostalgia, right? You'll never reach the greatness of the original Lilo and Stitch. That's not gonna happen. You'll never reach the greatness of the original Star Wars, 3 original Star Wars episodes. You're never gonna reach that. But you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. What you can do is you can modernize them in a way that, you know, that they look better, right? Which at this point, I'm also kind of questioning because, well, a lot of the CGI, partially, oftentimes nowadays, looks worse. Though, to be fair, that a lot of the movie issues that happens, oftentimes is connected to the fact that bad lighting. Have you ever observed that when you look at movies, the lighting is just atrocious? Nowadays, it's just crazy. To the original 6 poker. Some people ignore the episode 1, 2, and 3, right? Though I think that Revenge of the Sith is definitely probably one of the best ones. Regardless, it's at least for me. I love Revenge of the Sith. I think it is like number 2 out of the 6. Hey, that's me. But Phantom Menace and the second one are also horrendous. They're like bottom 5 and 6. Horrendous.
Very clear reality with the fact that Disney is intent on pushing this DEI agenda, and I really do hate the term DEI, but I think it applies here. It's a recipe for disaster. However, I am glad that they're finally seeing that. I'm glad that hopefully they are realizing that this is a losing issue, that we are moving very much away from all the things that they've been trying to do over the last number of years, and if they stay on their...
Don't worry. Pokemon is gonna step in. Pokemon is gonna step in where Disney stops. Mark my words, you're gonna get your Wokemon soon. Don't worry, it's gonna happen.
Current trajectory of all of the weird tolerance and representation and unnecessary race swapping, it's probably not going to do them so well as time goes on. In the end, I am extremely interested, and I'm not just saying that, I really mean it. I am extremely interested to see what Disney does going forward as wokeness falls away, as it realizes that many of its initiatives just don't hit with audiences anymore, and as times really do start to change. Now on that note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder to check out my little tea company, Lions Tea Exchange, using the link in the description. Use code WeDon'tWaste for 50% off Earl Grey, New York Breakfast, and Emerald Green. Please help me get rid of these flavors so I don't have to throw anything away. And also check out the new winter flavors. I promise you won't regret it. They are extremely good. Now I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Is it surprising to you that Disney is kind of going down this anti-DEI road? Or maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Is it surprising that they're starting to kind of turn away from...
No, not really, because it doesn't, like, the other one just doesn't make money. But also I have to say that they're probably not going anti-DEI, they're just gonna rename it. Remember that the big ones pushing DEI, and like, especially when referring to Bridge, it's not that there should be any DEI departments should not even be a thing, what they're pushing for. Instead, everyone in the company should be pushing DEI. So I don't trust them at all.
From DEI, that they're starting to think, hey, maybe this doesn't work so well. Do you think that it's because audiences don't relate to what they've been putting out? Do you think it's a bottom line issue? Do you think they're just hiring people within the company who are not progressive and are not closet activists? What do you think of this Rapunzel remake? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Should we just completely park all of the remakes and stop doing this? People are not interested. And what do you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you're not subscribed already and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel, as well as leaving this video a like and a comment, because I do read the majority of them and I like hearing your feedback. Like I always say, I hope you wonderful little chickadee people stay safe and well and make good choices, and go to the gym, go get fit, kiss your spouse, hug your dogs, love your kids, and I will see you wonderful little chickadees in the next video.
See. Here's the thing. I think we shouldn't do remakes. Instead, maybe we should try remasters. What I mean is, you take an old movie and basically just redo it, but better. You increase the animation quality, you increase how it looks. Maybe work a little bit on the voice acting. Maybe that could be interesting, right? You just give it a little bit more polish. Maybe that could be an interesting idea. And then, like, give the option. Do you want to watch the remastered version? Do you want to watch the original version? Of course, not every remaster would be good, right? There's oftentimes issues, but hey, I see no issue. For animated movies, stop the live action, remaster animated movies, and stop, yeah. Go back, actually, maybe try out if instead of doing 3D animations, try out and go back to 2D animations. Go back to drawn stuff instead of just regularly animated. I wonder how this could turn out, if this would be better. I can't say though for sure. But yeah, Disney, stop it. I know you won't. I know what you're trying to do. I know what Disney's trying to do. They're just gonna rename it and be like, we don't have any DEI stuff. It's just a different name. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe.